My book's primary hypothesis is that politicians with happy, non-depressive temperaments will tend to overestimate the resolve, that is, the willingness to go to war, of their state's adversaries, while they will underestimate the resolve of their state's allies. On the other hand, politicians with depressive temperaments will tend to do the exact opposite, that is, they will underestimate adversaries and overestimate allies. I used psycholinguistic text mining software to determine the frequencies of sadness words in the writings and speeches of politicians. I then examined the behavior of those politicians in the lead-ups to 12 wars, starting with the 1853 Crimean War and ending with the 2003 war in Iraq. I also subjected the corpora of the British Hansard, a total of over 1.5 billion words, and the U.S. Congressional Record, a total of over 4 billion words, to psycholinguistic text mining to determine the frequencies of sadness words over time. The data strongly supported my primary hypothesis, and there was also the clear finding that when the happiness levels in the applicable legislative body were on an upward trend, there was an increased risk of the outbreak of war due to the overestimation of the adversary's resolve, and when they were on a downward trend, there was a corresponding increased risk in the outbreak of war due to the underestimation of the adversary's resolve. For example, the 2003 war in Iraq occurred during a time when the happiness levels in the U.S. Congress were on an upward trend. This war was due to the U.S.'s gross overestimation of Saddam's resolve to acquire and utilize weapons of mass destruction. Although President George W. Bush has a depressive temperament, he surrounded himself with a close inner circle of advisors who all have non-depressive temperaments. The outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election will likely have little, if any, effect on the risk of the outbreak of war between the U.S. and its main adversary, China. This is because both President Trump and Joe Biden have, based on their speeches, depressive temperaments, and like President Bush, they have surrounded themselves with a close inner circle of advisors who have non-depressive temperaments.